So, Christopher Nolan's Interstellar is a film that I will admit I've had misgivings about as I've gone back and rewatched it. I had given it a very favorable rating when I first saw it. I still believe it's a nice piece of mythic storytelling with a science fictional frame. But my problems with Interstellar have to do with something I call black hole baloney. And asking the question, how is it with all that we've learned about quantum physics and black holes in the past few decades, that the science of black holes we present in films and television are still regurgitating fantastic ideas about black holes from the 1970s? So, what does Interstellar get wrong? Let's break them down. First of all, planets habitable to human beings would never be orbiting a black hole. Ever. It's a scientific absurdity. For one thing, there's no sunlight, which you need for life. Two, you're talking about a star system that would have an incredible amount of ionizing radiation running through it. You could not have a habitable planet around a black hole. Maybe habitable for a very different kind of alien life. Now, in Interstellar, the planets that the protagonists visit all have sunlight. So this means that there was another star in the Gargantua system. The star that the planets were actually orbiting, and that the black hole would then be part of a dual star system. This is not mentioned in the film because apparently Nolan thought this would be a little too much science for the audience to handle. And although it would be a cool idea, it wouldn't really work out in reality either, because not only do you run into the problem of ionizing radiation again, but the perturbations of gravity caused by a star and a black hole orbiting each other would eject any small planets out of the system very quickly. Next, the idea that you could fly through the event horizon of a black hole. There are instances where that would be possible, but you would need a galaxy-sized stellar mass with a ring-shaped singularity. In other words, the black hole is so large that the tidal forces along its edges are comparatively weak and not as sharp as the ones that would be generated by a smaller gravity well, and you would need the singularity to be ring-shaped so that you could have something to fly through. And finally, the most egregious bit of black hole baloney, and it's one that I wish science fiction writers and the public would move past, is the idea that a black hole is a passageway, that it is a tear in space-time, that a black hole leads somewhere else. Scientists and science fiction writers have known for decades that there is no truth to that. What is at the center of a black hole is a highly compressed stellar mass that has warped space-time into a funnel around it and is violently shredding everything being pulled into the funnel and spewing out X-rays. The fact that we cannot see it doesn't mean that it's not there. But this fanciful notion of black holes being gateways, passageways, has been speculated on now for so long it's almost considered canon, even though there is no scientific basis to the idea whatsoever. The only place a black hole can take you is years into the future, if you slingshot around it, assuming you could survive not being fried by its radiation. It's also making me think how people used to speculate that black holes would ultimately suck up everything else in the universe, and there would be nothing left but black holes. And even that is not an accurate idea anymore. We know that although black holes do have a very steep gravity well. When you are close to them, their gravitational influence rapidly decreases as you move away from them. If Alpha Centauri, which is for some odd light years away from Earth, turned into a black hole, it would not slowly pull our star into it over millions of years. It doesn't actually work like that. Black holes do not have more of a gravitational pull than the original star did. It's just more localized in a very small area. And I wouldn't complain about these dopey ideas of black holes if Christopher Nolan and his marketing people weren't so gung-ho about how brilliant the science in the movie Interstellar was. I mean, the idea of a four-dimensional hole appearing to us as a sphere, that was good. The image of the black hole, Gargantua, in Interstellar, with its orange accretion disk, that was very accurate to what we know. But aside from the black hole baloney, I think the real reason Interstellar doesn't really work as a film is because the climax that involves Jessica Chastain realizing that the hand on her watch flickering is her father speaking to her across space-time, just it doesn't really work as a dramatic moment. And then her suddenly reconciling with her stupid brother, like he just immediately believes her when she tells him about what she's discovered, like he's believed anything she's said throughout the film. I didn't think any of that stuff worked. And don't get me wrong, I like most everything in this film except for the scientific inaccuracies and the big moment with, the watch that my dad gave me. It's a moment that could work very well in a science fiction short story or a novel. But as a dramatic crescendo, I just feel the whole film falls on its face right there. Especially when you're trying to go for big and epic, having your climactic scene being someone staring at a watch. I mean, in general, someone looking at their watch is usually not a good sign in any kind of situation. Much less the punchline of your multi-million-dollar sci-fi epic. And again, I think as a mythic fantasy that speculates on the human condition, the film says a lot of interesting things. I just find it irritating that it's been almost 50 years now, and we are still talking about black holes like they are something they are not. That's all I got to say about that.